Riot Games has officially announced that we'll be getting a lot of opportunities to play 2SKO later this year, and the game will be officially launching next year in 2025. This is amazing news for all of us that's excited for the game, but we still have about a whole year until the game officially releases. I know a lot of you guys are just eager to play the game just like me, because I've seen so many of you ask, what fighting games should you get into while you wait? Well, lucky for you, I have a list already made. I had the opportunity to play 2SKO last year at EVO 2023, so I have pretty much a good idea on what games will provide you the closest experience you can possibly get while you wait. Now, before we get into this, keep in mind that none of these games play exactly like 2SKO. KO is a very unique experience, but it does pull a lot of inspirations from many different fighting games, so all of the games I will be suggesting will essentially provide you a close enough experience to it to allow you to be comfortable with the genre as a whole and give you an idea on how tag fighters traditionally play. To go ahead and get this list started, let's get into my favorite tag fighter of all time, Dragon Ball FighterZ. Dragon Ball FighterZ is probably the one on this list that plays the least like 2SKO, but it does have some strong merits making it worthwhile to play. For starters, it is a tag game, so it will teach you the traditional basics of how they play. This includes things like understanding when to call assist and learning how to play multiple characters at once. These are skills that will be very helpful when learning KO in the future, because they will help you understand deeper concepts like team building and synergy. Dragon Ball FighterZ also has a pretty simple combat system with auto combos and only having quarter circle and down motion inputs, so picking up this game for anybody that's new to the fighting game genre should be pretty simple. The game did receive a big rollback update just a few weeks ago, but keep in mind at the time of this recording, the rollback netcode update did break some key functionalities of the game like spectator mode and the camera work for stage transitions. For the most part though, the game is still pretty much playable and enjoyable, so if you still want to pick the game up, there's no harm or foul there. All in all, out of all the games on this list, Dragon Ball FighterZ will still provide you the most bang for your buck because of how well made of a tag game it is, and because it has the biggest active player base on the list, so finding games on any platform shouldn't be hard at all. If you're looking for a game that plays much closer to 2SKO, then I definitely have better choices on this list for you to pick, but if you're just looking for a fighting game to get you accustomed to the genre, then I highly recommend Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now, one of those better choices I was talking about was the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Marvel vs. Capcom is the tag fighter. Anybody that knows anything about fighting games definitely knows about Marvel, baby. Now, when it comes to getting as close to 2SKO's feel, you can't just pick any Marvel game though. All of these games play pretty different from each other, but they do all teach you the basic cores of how tag fighters work. To get you as close to the 2SKO feel though, I would highly recommend Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now wait, before you click off the video, I know MVCI isn't the prettiest game, I know it doesn't have the greatest roster, and I know it is looked down upon pretty negatively when it was originally released. But when I tell you this is one of the games that's pretty close to how 2SKO plays, I mean it. For starters, just like 2SKO, this game is a 2v2 fighter. You want to be able to play this format as much as possible, since this is how the game will be primarily played. Just like KO, MVCI also features the active tag system. Active tag is being able to perform a move with your point character and then tagging in your second character while that move is still being performed. This is something you'll be doing a lot in 2SKO, so using MVCI to practice this system is definitely a great option. KO also takes a lot of inspiration for its core movement from the Marvel vs. Capcom series, so getting used to dashing, backdashing, and definitely wave dashing will help you out a lot before the game releases. Now, the biggest difference between MVCI and 2SKO is that MVCI replaced the ability to use assist in a game with the active tag system, while KO includes both active tagging and assist. This makes the game's combat flow pretty different from each other, but again, the goal of this video is to give you options that provide you a close enough experience to 2SKO. Trust me, everybody that has played the game has praised it for its combat, and I even tried the game personally before making this video, and I had a blast learning it myself. I'm pretty sure you're able to find Marvel Infinite for a cheap price no matter the platform, but keep in mind this game's active player base is pretty small. You're more than likely going to need to pick up this game with a buddy to learn together, or join the NVCI player Discord to ask for games, as well as have the community teach you all you need to know. Next, we have Skullgirls. Skullgirls is pretty similar to Dragon Ball FighterZ, where it doesn't really play like 2SKO at all, but it teaches you the core basic of all tag fighters. Grasping and understanding things like team building and synergy is very important, but not only does Skullgirls teach you that, you also have the option to play different team sizes. Skullgirls is the only tag fighter that offers players the ability to pick one character, 2 characters, or 3 characters on a single team. This is something that no other tag team fighter does, and this is what makes Skullgirls so exciting. Now, depending on the size of your team determines how much damage your characters do and how much health you have, but having such a huge freedom with team building like this means you could replicate the 2-man team format that 2SKO provides. Outside of that, these games really don't have any more similarities that they share. If you're not really hunting for similarities to 2SKO, then Skullgirls still have so much more to offer. Like, they have a unique assist system that allows players to literally set any move they want as an assist. No other games provide this level of freedom with team creativity, which honestly makes Skullgirls in itself a worthy investment anyway. The only thing I could suggest again when picking up this game is buy it with a friend. The player base of Skullgirls is still active, and they also still receive new content updates pretty consistently. But the people that play Skullgirls till this day are mostly active veteran players, so if you want opportunities to actually learn and play the game at your own pace and with someone on a similar skill level, then definitely pick it up with a buddy, beat each other up, and learn the game as you guys are having some fun. Now, our last 2 options on this list will give you the biggest edge and the most experience you need when it comes to understanding how 2SKO plays, and honestly, I'm so glad it's these 2 games because they deserve some love. The first one is BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. If you see any videos or discussions talking about what fighting game players will transition over to 2SKO the best, then more than likely you have heard about BB Tag players. This is because KO is literally a League of Legends versions of BB Tag. The game is 2v2. The game has the active tag system, and you still have access to your assists. This game is going to be one of the closer ones that you're going to get the 2SKO feel outside of still having to use motion inputs. The motion inputs in this game though are really simple, which they only include quarter circle motions and down inputs. This game also features auto combos like Dragon Ball FighterZ, which isn't in 2SKO, but it still helps deliver on the goal of ease of use for new players. To highlight the game system even more, you know how you have multiple assists for each character that you use in a single match in 2SKO? That exists in this game as well. Honestly, I just wouldn't be surprised if Riot saw BB Tag, thought it was a banger game, and said, yeah, let's steal that. This game also features a huge crossover roster from the BlazBlue series, Persona, Under Night, Ruby, and many more, making the game have such a unique gameplay system because every character from every respective series has something unique tailored to them. Oh, did I mention that this game had rollback netcode? BB Tag is such an amazing game, and out of all the games on this list, this is one of the ones that I recommend to the highest degree. You can also get it for a pretty cheap price on any platform, so definitely give it a try. BB Tag came out a few years ago, so of course the game is progressively getting older. So again, I would suggest you to pick this game up with a buddy, get on it, have a blast with mashing some buttons, and learn the game together. But if you're not able to, trust me, the game still has a plethora of offline stuff and fighting at CPUs that I pretty much think is still worthwhile to grind the game and at least get a grasp on how tag fighters and how 2SKO will closely feel. Alright, now we're on the game I've been waiting to recommend the most because for some reason nobody hardly ever brings this game up. To prepare for 2SKO, I highly recommend everyone to play Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Battle for the Grid is a 3v3 tag fighter that features all the same systems we mentioned in BB Tag. It has the active tag system, access to the assist, it uses directional inputs just like 2XKO, and even replicates the same morpher movement that 2XKO is inspired from. These games are so similar to each other and are so close that at times they kind of feel like the same game to me. Now I will say Battle for the Grid is similar to NVCI in where the game isn't visually appealing, and that's mostly because it was a small indie project that was led by professional fighting game players Shady K and Clockwork. Now, if you've been keeping up with 2SKO, you will probably realize that the name Clockwork sounds familiar because he is a game designer for 2SKO. So to me, what this entails is that they were really impressed with the concept of Battle for the Grid and offered Clockwork the opportunity to work on 2SKO in order to implement similar concepts into the game. Battle for the Grid was a small passion project, and the many people that played it grew to love it. It is a very cheap game with a pretty big roster featuring very iconic rangers in the series. It has rollback netcode and crossplay, so no matter the platform you play on, you and your friends can just hop on and have a good time together. Again, the only issue you will ever have with this game is it having a smaller player base, so grabbing the game with a friend or joining the community Discord would definitely do wonders for you when trying to learn. But outside of that, the game is 2SKO, to be honest. The only other differences there with it between 2SKO and Battle for the Grid is that Battle for the Grid is 3v3 and 2SKO is 2v2. Of course, with also the added feature of 2SKO being a more two-player versus two-player oriented game, which again, none of these games on this list truly focuses on that, which is why 2SKO is such a unique experience. But that's all the games I have to suggest. I hope this video was helpful for you guys and you did enjoy. Remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new for more 2SKO news and information, as well as us just preparing for the game's release. I'm so excited for this game and I can't wait to get my hands on it when it's finally time. Hopefully we're going to get a beta test soon and we're going to get new information pretty soon. Again, I appreciate you guys and I'll see y'all in the next video.